What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the best things to do in Ontario. I don't know if Canadians really know this, but it's funny. Americans really don't know many of the Canadian provinces. It's kind of funny, kind of sad. If you got an American and you're like, list me some of the Canadian provinces, they'd probably like start looking around or something and be like, I got a dentist appointment I gotta go to. Ask me again some other time, and you would never see them again. But one of the provinces Americans do know is Ontario. We know Ontario. Most Americans have heard this word before. I don't know if they could point it out on a map, but I can't talk too much because I was one of those Americans at one point. But not just because Ontario is kind of jutting itself down into America, pushing Michigan and New York out of the way and just going where it wants to go. But I think because Ontario has Ottawa and Toronto is a big reason. Ontario is really heavily populated, and it's just one of those places that even I, little old American me, heard growing up, even if I couldn't really picture it or have any sort of insight on it. I just knew it was a magical, mystical Canadian place in the sky somewhere. But not any longer. Today, we're going to actually take a look at something I'm very excited about because it's actually by a really good Canadian YouTube channel called Must Do Canada, who make incredible videos about different parts of Canada, and this one features Ontario and some of the best things to do. So I am very excited to take a look at some of these things, and with that being said, let's take a look.
We're now in Ontario, the sixth province on our 150-day road trip across Canada. Our first stop was Ottawa, Canada's capital city, which is right across the river from Quebec. We learned why Ottawa was chosen as the capital because
Ottawa is right across from Quebec. That is like I'm sorry. I'm like trying to enjoy the cool sights, but at the same time like digest my mental notes for like where stuff is geographically in Canada. Sorry, but she pointed it out.
Across the river from Quebec. We learned why Ottawa was chosen as the capital because of its proximity between both English and French Canada. We first visited the Bytime Museum, where we learned about the construction of the Rideau Canal, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also about Ottawa's history, how it turned from a small, dangerous town into the beautiful city that is today.
Wow, okay, so already one of the best things to do in Ontario, not too surprisingly, visit Ottawa.
We also visited the Canadian Museum of History, which explores over 20,000 years of human history in Canada. It was also cool to learn about everything Canada has gone through over the last 150 years.
That's really cool that the museum features not like just the history of like modern Canada or Canada's founding and beyond, but like 2,000 years of what happened in Canada. Like that's really cool, actually.
As well as see special exhibitions such as hockey, where we got to see the earliest known hockey stick made in the 1800s.
The earliest known hockey stick. The earliest hockey stick right here. I'm sorry, we gotta take a second. How do we know this is a hockey stick? What if someone was just using this to like smack their moose meat into pieces? Do we know okay, I should stop. This is the first hockey stick. I gotta pay some respect.
I really love the strong focus on Canada's Aboriginal peoples, both before and after the Europeans arrived.
Exactly. Literally, exactly. Like the focus on the native Canadian history all the way up to the present. That's awesome.
In fact, the building itself is a work of art designed by the famous Aboriginal architect, Douglas Carleton.
Wow. Wow.
Another cool place is the nearby Diefenbunker Cold War Museum, a massive 100,000 square foot bunker that was built to sustain the life of certain delegates in the case of a nuclear war.
What?
Now it's home to a one-of-a-kind museum as well as the world's largest escape room.
This is another reason I love this channel. They point out some of the I don't even know what the word. I was going to say kooky. Unique. I'm going to say it's some of the kookiest, most unique, unexpected stuff to do around Canada. Like this Cold War bunker that could survive a nuclear blast and an escape room, too?
The nuclear war. Now it's home to a one-of-a-kind museum as well as the world's largest escape room. We loved running around the building like an action hero, solving clues under pressure and trying to beat the clock.
This is amazing! I don't know how popular escape rooms are in Canada. They're like all the rage. In America, they have gotten so high in popularity. I love this. Did he say the biggest escape room in the world?
Now it's home to a one-of-a-kind museum as well as the world's largest escape room. We loved running around the building like an action hero, solving clues under pressure and trying to beat the clock.
Yes.
Another great thing to do is to visit Parliament Hill, especially during Canada Day when the city hosts one of the biggest parties in the country.
Oh.
Being in Ottawa for Canada Day was an unforgettable experience.
They were in Ottawa for Canada Day? How old is this video? 5 years old. They were in Ottawa for Canada Day. That's awful lucky. Well, maybe it was kind of planned. Go figure. Some people actually plan some of this stuff out. I can't really relate.
I'm so happy that I got to celebrate the awesomeness of this country.
Wow.
A country that has made me feel loved and welcome from the very first day.
Yeah.
We had the fortune of being there for Canada's 150th, where we got to briefly meet the Prime Minister, listen to dozens of inspiring talks, watch talented Canadian artists perform on stage, and feeling the energy and pride of Canadians and visitors celebrating what Canada has become and dreaming of the next 150 years going forward.
Wow, I can only imagine, like, how hyped it all was, like, being in Canada on Canada 150, in Ottawa, like, wow. And I like that it's a lot of Americans might have assumed it'd be some kind of like formal, like, let us all appreciate the 150 years. And it's like, no, they're like throwing a giant party. It's awesome. Fireworks. Very nice. What is it?
One of my favorite activities in Niagara Falls was
Niagara Falls. I mean, that makes sense. You can't just gloss over Ontario without mentioning Niagara Falls. That happens to be something I have reacted to in the past, so I know stuff about it. But I will point out again that, like, Americans, including myself, don't really realize where some of this stuff is, like Niagara Falls, and that it's in Ontario. And part of it's actually like in America. Like there's a couple stuff about it I never knew.
Boat cruise, where we got to experience the power of the falls. We got so close that we got soaked by the mist.
I say this every time I see Niagara Falls. It's like, this is scary. Like, is it scary getting on this boat and like you're getting closer and closer? They're driving you under the falls. That is the point. You're actually paying them to drive you under the falls. Probably not as dangerous as I think, but when the water's slapping you in the face with your poncho on, you're probably like, oh yeah, this is the life. This is good stuff.
Another great way to experience the falls is going behind them, where you can admire this world wonder up close.
Yeah.
It's so impressive to see the amount of water that flows over the edge.
With over 4
Niagara Falls must be like one of the wonders of the world, right? Like in that list of like the wonders of the world. Like it must be. It's too amazing.
million cubic feet of water flowing over the edge every minute, Niagara Falls has become one of the world's natural wonders. There are so many ways to experience the falls, and we had the opportunity to see them from a variety of different angles. I really enjoyed getting a bird's eye view of the falls from a helicopter, seeing the surrounding area and the mist rising up into the sky.
How do they always do this kind of stuff too? I gotta say, Must Do Canada, this channel, they really plan stuff out, like, and they go the extra mile, cause, like, your average tourist sure ain't getting up in a helicopter to enjoy the falls. Now, I think we all wish we could, but this is just like, most of this has been suggestions of like cool stuff to do. And then it's like, yeah, just jump in your helicopter. And it's like, what? Huh? Wow.
We also walked along the river to see the Class 7 rapids up close and took an antique cable car to see the area from a different perspective.
Yeah.
We also explored nearby Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is known not only for its award-winning wines, but also for its food scene. We toured vineyards, learned how they make the wine, sampled all sorts of wine.
Oh, I didn't know it was known for wine. Any wine heads out there? This is like a dream come true, I imagine.
And tried a variety of food while learning about the history of the area. After Niagara, we headed to Toronto, one of the world's most multicultural cities.
Toronto. Yeah, like, I think that is the most Canadian place to Americans. Like, if you just ran up to an American and shoved a mic in their face, you were like, name a Canadian place now. They'd be like, Toronto. Like, and they'd be like, am I under arrest or something? Anyway, so I'm sure they're going to point out some cool stuff to do here.
Before going deeper into the city, we went for a walk around the harbor and then took a cruise to Toronto Island to get a beautiful view of the city skyline.
Toronto Island? What's on Toronto Island? Is that Toronto Island? That can't be Toronto Island. That looks just like a patch of land.
We took a bus around the city, stopping at various sites like the Royal Ontario Museum, the Hockey Hall of Fame, and Casa Loma.
Casa Loma. Hockey Hall of Fame. That'd be cool.
Only castle in Canada.
The only castle in Canada. Why is that? What's the story behind that? That's for another video. Okay.
Then we went to the Livelihood Cafe and learned about their wonderful project that helps refugees and others learn valuable skills to build long-term careers.
Oh.
Like, this country is really special than other countries. It's a multicultural, and there is culture from everywhere.
Yeah, oh my god, that is so amazing. And it's amazing they're actually highlighting it in their video here. Like a cafe that its whole purpose is to highlight different cultures and provide jobs to refugees, by the sound of it. Like, I've never run into anything like this in America. I like to think somewhere in America maybe something like this exists, but this just seems like a standard occurrence in Canada. The support of multiculturalism. Like, that's what's truly amazing. Seems like in America we've been called like a melting pot. Like, we have different, like, diverse populations, especially in certain areas, but most everyone is kind of encouraged to be American, like, conform to the American way or you're gonna stick out. But in Canada, it's diverse, but it's like, no, like, promote and be proud of your culture and your diversity, while also everyone is proudly a Canadian, which is like a beautiful thing to see.
You don't feel that you're different than everybody. You're like everybody here. I had to leave Syria because of the war, and if we stayed there, we was like, I'm pretty sure that we will die there. So me and my family, we really like Canada, and all my brothers, they said this is our second home. We don't want to leave it. And this is a nice country. They helped us a lot.
It's nice.
And also my parents, they like it here. They think all the people, I believe all the people here is very kind.
It was hard.
It's good. It's touching. It's touching. Like, they kind of hit the jackpot, deciding to move to Canada from Syria, I think he said.
Breaking to hear some of their stories, but heartwarming to see them all welcomed into Canada.
Indeed.
Shukran, Canada. Thank you.
Very heartwarming.
The next day we decided to learn some history and took a tour around the St. Lawrence Market and the surrounding area to learn about Toronto's humble beginnings.
Oh.
Then we took a food tour of the city, which not only introduced us to the food scene.
Food tour. Now we're talking. The food tour of Toronto. Ice cream. Sorry. I haven't gotten so excited the entire video. Suddenly they pull ice cream up and it's like, whoa, whoa!
But also to some of the city's culture. We tried handmade chocolates, award-winning gelato, and quite possibly some of the best fries in the world.
Oh!
Next, we went to Mississauga to experience the only flight simulator of its kind in Canada, a Boeing 777. Sitting next...
Flight simulator. See, this is what I'm talking about with this, some of these videos. Like, this is just the most random stuff. Like, yeah, I went to... What'd you do in Canada when you were over there? Oh, I went in a flight simulator. Be like, huh? Is Is that something Canadians like to do? Like, no. It's just like, it was in Mississauga, so yeah.
Next to a real pilot, we got a taste of what it's like to fly such a big jet, including...
That being said, it looks awesome. I feel like I should point that out.
Taking off and landing in various airports around the world. It really makes you appreciate the work that goes into flying a plane.
Yeah.
With time running out, we knew that...
Is Mississauga known for aviation or flight simulators? I feel like maybe I'm missing something here. It came across as kind of random to me, although undeniably cool.
We knew that we couldn't leave the province without experiencing its lakes and forests. So we headed to Algonquin Provincial Park, where we canoed and saw some wildlife. We went paddleboarding and spent hours jumping off the dock and into the water. Whether you stay...
Yeah, the lakes and forests, that's good, because I gotta admit, I started this video saying, yeah, Americans know Ontario because it has Toronto and Ottawa, and they actually focused a lot on Toronto and Ottawa in this video, funny enough. But I'm glad they're focusing on some of the nature aspect as well.
Stay in a lodge or pitch a tent, you cannot say that you've seen Canada without experiencing some of its nature. And one of the best ways to do it in Ontario is in Algonquin Provincial Park.
Okay.
From vibrant multicultural cities to lakes, forests, and stunning natural attractions, Ontario is a great place to explore.
Wow.
Thank you for watching our Ontario episode.
To learn more about what we did in the province, as well as other provinces during our 150-day road trip, visit mustdocanada.com.
Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool, I gotta say. Again, this video is by Must Do Canada, and I gotta give it a like. That was awesome. Like, best things to do in Ontario? Yeah. Also, like, some of the most random that I've ever seen. But I think that's one of the awesome things about some of the videos they make. It's like they do a great job highlighting the heart and soul of Ontario in this instance. But, like, find some of the most creative, interesting attractions that, honestly, tourists, like I would actually go nuts for. Like, the world's biggest escape room is like, yeah, okay. Now we're talking. Like, so I actually really enjoyed this. Like, this was really fun. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with some of the best things to do in Ontario in your opinion. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, different places in Canada, stuff about Canadian culture that I've never seen before or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.